Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Kuf Chaf Aleph of masechet Pesachim, Daf 121. And obviously, it's an exciting day for us over here at Babylon Talmud because this is the final Daf in masechet Pesachim. Wow. Pretty exciting. I feel like it kind of crept up on me. I don't know why, but it feels like I don't know, just all of a sudden it's like, oh gosh, this is the last one. Very interesting. Well, let's jump in. And Kuf Chaf Beis, Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. So we're going to start with the last snippet from the previous Mishnah, which is HaPigol V'Anoser Mitami Yadayim. That pigol, which of course is if you have a korban and you prepare it, the Shrita, Zrika, Olacha, Kabbalah, do one of the avodas, with the intention of eating the korban outside of its time that you're allowed to eat it. That's what's called pigol. So if you then end up eating pigol, you chayav kares, and the korban itself is matami esadayim. It's going to make your hands tame. And noser is meat that was not eaten on time. For example, korban shlamim, you can eat it for 2 days and the night in between. If you don't chaparain, so then after those 2 days it becomes noser. And also, the Mishnah says that it's going to make your hands tameh, and this is a sugya that we saw on Daf Pei Hey, which was already over a month ago. So Rav Huna, Rav Chizda, Charama Mishum Chaj Dekuna, Charama Mishum Atz Dekuna. So there's machlokas between Rav Chizda and Rav Huna that, well, we're going to see it's actually not a machlokas. They're talking about different things, but one of them says that it's Mishum Chaj Dekuna. The other one says it's Mishum Atz Dekuna. What are those things? Chaj Dekuna. What's a chashad? A suspicion. That we are, okay, let's go by. We're concerned about something. We'll have to see what we're concerned about and what it's applying to. The other one says in Mishum Atzle Kahuna that we're concerned about lazy Kohanim. So to address our concerns about lazy Kohanim, we make things Tameh. So what does that mean? Chadamar Kazais v'Chadamar Kibeya. So now one of them also says that the Shi'ur that is Matame Yadayim is the size of an olive. The other one says that the amount that is Matame Yadayim is the size of an egg. Okay, let's try to get a shtickle clarity over here. So Chatani Apigol v'Chatani Anoser. Okay, so first of all, the Gemara says that Rav Huna and Rav Chizda are not actually arguing. They're Pashit talking about apples and oranges. Okay, one of them is talking, right? The Mishnah said that Pigol and Noser are both Matame, your hands. And what one of them is talking about Kilu Rav Chizda or Rav Huna. One of them is talking about Noser, and the other one is talking about Pigol. Okay, let's go weiter. Mandatani Pigol Mishum Chaj Dekuna. Okay, so now we're starting to put things in the proper place. So the one who says, right, where am I? Mandatani Pigol Mishum Chaj Dekuna. So the Mandamar who's talking about pigol, so he's the one who says Mishum Chaj Dekuna, that we're concerned about Kohanim. What does that mean? It means that if you have Kohanim who, for whatever reason, want to punish somebody, so they could just make their korban pigol, right? So that I don't know why they would want to do this, but let's say you have a Kohen, and the Kohen is Bregus, he's upset with Reuven. Reuven now comes to bring a korban. So the Kohen says, I have a good idea. When I'm gonna, do Zrika Saddam, I'm gonna intend to eat the korban outside of its proper time, which makes the korban pigol, and it's gonna mess it up for Reuven. So, in order to prevent the Kohen from doing that, we say, well, if you do that, then the korban is gonna be matame yadayim. It's gonna make your hands tame, then it's gonna be a headache, because you'll have to go and become untame, and it'll be a shtickle mess. So to prevent or to de-incentivize the Kohanim from making korbanos pigol, we say, well, if you make them pigol, then it's going to be matame yadayim. Okay. Mandatani Noser Mishum Atzle Kahuna. And the Manda Amar, who is talking about Noser, so he's the one, right, a meat that isn't eaten on time and it becomes leftover. So he's the one who gives his reasoning because of the Atzle Kahuna, the Kohanim who are lazy, or at least not zariz enough, not excited enough or on top of things enough, and they're gonna, if you don't get to eat the meat on time, so it becomes noser, it becomes leftover, and then it becomes puzzle. And we don't want kachim to become puzzle. So therefore, in the interest of preventing kachim meat from being neglected and becoming puzzle, from being noser, we say, well, if it becomes noser, it's going to make your hands tummy. So then it'll be more convenient to just eat the meat than to let it go, and you have to deal with the tumah. So again, we saw the opinions of Rav Huna and Rav Chizda. We said one of them said mishum chajdei kuna, that we're concerned about kohanim who may end up making korbanos pigul, essentially. So he's talking about pigul. And then the other one says we're worried about atzle kuna, kohanim being lazy. He's talking about noser, that they might not get around to eating the meat and it'll become puzzle. So we say in both cases, well, if it becomes pigul or if it becomes noser, it's going to be mitame esiyadayim, it's going to make your hands tameh, and it'll be more convenient to just do it properly and not let it become tameh. Charamar kazayis, charamar kebeya. One of them says that the shear that is mitame esiyadayim, the amount that is going to be make your hands tameh, is a kazayis, the size of an olive. The other one says it's the size of an egg. Mandamar kazayis ki isur, mandamar kebeya ki tumaso. So mandamar who says that it's the size of an olive, it's how come he comes up with the olive amount? Well, it's like the amount of the isser, just like you wouldn't be allowed to eat a kazayis of pigul or a kazayis of noser. So also in terms of so that's the same amount that if you touch it, if there's a kazayis of noser or kazayis of pigul, it's going to be mitame esiyadayim. The other one says that it's based on the amount to transfer tumas ochlin, the food impurities, and food impurities are transferred when there is an egg's worth of food, and that is the shiur for tumas hayodayim by pigul and noser. Friends, now we get to the final Mishnah of Masechta Pesachim. Berich birkas Pesach poter es shel zevach, berich es shel zevach lo poter es shel Pesach divrei Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Akiva omer lo zo poter zo, v'lo zo poter zo. What does this mean? So there is a bracha that you make on, as the Rashbam explains, that there is a bracha that you make on the zevach. What's the zevach? So the Rashbam gives two options. One option is, very good, chagigas yudalit. The chagigas yudalit, that you would eat as the main meal if there weren't enough people to eat the korban pesach. No, the opposite. If there were too many people to eat the korban pesach and not everyone was going to get enough to be satisfied, so then you bring a chagigas yudalit with it. So there's a bracha, asher kedushan mitzvos v'tzvanu ala zevach. So that's a bracha you'd make on a zevach. Rashbam gives an alternative option as well, which is that if you brought nedarim or nedavos that day, right? If you had a voluntary offering that you offered on Erev Pesach, so maybe you're eating that, and then the bracha on the korban pesach would be a bracha that you make on the korban pesach. What does he say? He would say, asher kedushan mitzvos v'tzivanu lechol ha-pesach. Right, okay, and on a zevach will be lechol ha-zevach. Okay. Anyways, so says the Mishnah, Perach birkas ha-pesach poter es shel zevach. So if you made the bracha on the korban pesach at night, so that will be enough to cover the bracha that you have to make on the, let's say, chagigas yudalit. Okay, so you would only make one bracha in that case. Perach es shel zevach lo poter es shel pesach divrei Rabbi Yishmael. But if you made the bracha on the chagigas yudalit, you would still make a separate bracha on the korban pesach. Now, mistama, you're eating the chagigas yudalit before you're eating the korban pesach, since that was the main meal. So mistama, I guess you're gonna say the bracha of lechol es hazevach, and also the bracha of lechol ha-pesach. Okay, seder, very good. Anyway, so that's the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael, that the bracha on the korban pesach covers the zevach, but the bracha on the zevach does not cover the bracha for the korban pesach. You would make a separate bracha for the korban pesach. Rabbi Akiva omer lo zo poter zo v'lo zo poter zo. Rabbi Akiva says that neither one covers the other one. You make a bracha on the chagigas yudalit, you make a bracha on the korban pesach. Neither one covers the other one. Says the Gemara, Kshetim tzalom l'divrei Rabbi Yishmael zrika b'chlal shvicha v'lo shvicha b'chlal zrika l'divrei Rabbi Akiva lo shvicha b'chlal zrika v'lo zrika b'chlal shvicha. What does that mean? It means this. If you conceptualize the let's say Chagigas Yudalit and the Korban Pesach, based on how we apply their blood to the Mizbeach, because every Korban, there's something that you do with its blood, whether that's Zrikas Adam, that you take the blood and you throw it on the Mizbeach, or whether that is Shvicha, which is you go up to the Mizbeach and you pour it onto the Mizbeach, or whether that's Matan Damim Be'etzba, or whether like by Korban Chatas that you dip your finger in the blood and you apply it with your finger to the Mizbeach. But every Korban has some kind of way that you're going to apply its blood to the Mizbeach. So now, Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Akiva both agree that by Korban Pesach, the way that you apply the blood to the Mizbeach is you pour it onto the Mizbeach. Whereas by the Chagigas Yudalit, for example, you would throw it onto the Mizbeach. So now, if we can divide up or conceptualize the Korban Chagiga and the Korban Pesach vis-a-vis their blood and how you get it onto Mizbeach, so we could say this. Well, the bracha, according to Rabbi Shmuel, the bracha that you make on the Zevach does not include the Korban Pesach. You're going to have to make a separate bracha on the Korban Pesach. And therefore, if you put that into blood terms, so it's saying that Zrika does not include Shvicha, right? Just like the bracha on the Zevach does not include the bracha of the Korban Pesach. So also Zrika, which is the way that you get the blood of the Chagiga onto the Mizbeach, does not include Shvicha. Okay, and if you did and therefore, if you did, right, exactly. So if you have a korban where you need to do shvicha, and instead you did zrika, so that doesn't work, because zrika does not include shvicha. However, according to Rabbi Shmuel, the bracha that you make on the korban pesach does cover the bracha of the chagiga, right? Which means that shvicha, right, the korban pesach, which the way that you apply the blood is you pour it on the mizbeach, does include the chagigas yudalit, i.e. zrika. And therefore, if you have a korban that you need to do zrika sadam and you did shvicha sadam, that would work. Okay? So kishatim sulomar, so if you want to say the divrei Rabbi Shmuel, so according to Rabbi Shmuel, who says that the bracha on the korban pesach covers the bracha on the chagigas yudalit, but the bracha on the chagigas yudalit does not cover the bracha on the korban pesach, so zrika bichlal shvicha, so zrika is included in shvicha, right? And therefore, if you did shvicha for something that you needed to do zrika for, it would work, just like if you make a bracha on the korban pesach, it covers the zevach. Velo shvicha bichlal zrika, but shvicha is not included in zrika, right? Just like if you make the bracha on the chagigas yudalit, it does not include the korban pesach. You'd have to make a separate bracha. So also, if you were supposed to do shvicha and you did zrika, that would not work. It's a little bit easier, I guess, if you're Rabbi Akiva, who says that the bracha on the zevach does not cover the korban pesach, nor does the bracha on the korban pesach cover the zevach, and therefore also shvicha doesn't work for zrika, zrika doesn't work for shvicha. If you need zrika, you do zrika. If you need shvicha, you do shvicha. Okay. And to wrap up, we are now on Daf Kufchaf Aleph Amud Beis. Rabbi Simlai ikla the Pidyon Haben. Rabbi Simlai went to a Pidyon Haben. What's a Pidyon Haben? Pidyon Haben is when you have a firstborn boy. So after 30 days, you redeem him from the Kohen. Okay? So, Ba'omine, so they asked Rabbi Simlai, the Pidyon Haben, Pshita al Pidyon Haben, Asher Kedushan of Mitzvos of Tzivona al Pidyon Haben, Avia ben Mevarich. Okay. So they said to Rabbi Simlai, okay, so we have no question regarding the bracha on Pidyon Haben, that the father is going to be the one to make that bracha. Because he's the one who's redeeming his child. But what they want to know is, what about the Shecheyanu? Who makes the bracha of Shecheyanu v'kimanu v'gyanu l'zman? Is it the father? Or is it the Kohen? Kohen mevarich dikamati ano aliyade. Do we say that the Kohen should make the Shecheyanu because he's the one who's getting benefit, he's the one who's getting the money? Avia ben mevarich. Or do we say that the father is going to be the one to say Shechianu to Ka'avid mitzvah because he's the one doing the mitzvah. Lo Avi B'yadeh, and Reb Simlai didn't know the answer. Also Shal Bei Midrasha, so he went to the Beis HaMedrash and he asked the Kasha. Amrule, they said to him, Avia ben Mevarich Shtayim, Yochsa Avia ben Mevarich Shtayim. They said to him that the father of the child is going to make both brachas, the bracha on the pidyon haben and the Shechianu, and that is the halacha. Hadran alach Ayvei Pesachim musliklach masechet Pesachim. Well, we'll come back to you, Ayvei Pesachim, and we've completed, I guess, masechet Pesachim. No? So what did you guys think? What did you guys think? What did you think of masechet Pesachim? What did you think? Did it stand up to your expectations? I think so, right? Masechet Pesachim is awesome, especially, it comes out in such a awesome note with the last 3 weeks of Ayvei Pesachim. It's been pretty awesome. Especially after Eruvin, just good Geschmacke Gemara. No, should we do a sikum of Ayvei Pesachim? I didn't really prepare much other than the first 4 prakim were pretty awesome with all those Pesach inyanim or la'arba asar bod kines chametz lo aner, and discussing bedikas chametz and all those things. Then we got into all those difficult kachim sugyas with tuma hutra b'tzibur, tuma dechuya b'tzibur, tzitz miratze, all those complicated sugyas. Then we got to Ayvei Pesachim at the end, and then also the winter. Yeah, Masechet Pesachim on a personal level was kind of a crazy thing. A lot happened during Masechet Pesachim. So yeah, it's interesting to think back. It's been quite a journey. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Now we have a few weeks of Masechet Shkalim ahead of us, which is going to be interesting with all that Yerushalmi. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for Masechet Shkalim.